Tonight, Jackson and Summit Township approved a fire service partnership that could save taxpayers money and improve emergency response. Good evening. I'm Ann Emmerich. Both the City Council and Township Board voted to move forward with shared fire services. News 10's Rachel Fulton joins us in studio with how this partnership will work.
Yeah, and this resolution builds on 5 years of informal collaboration between the two departments, kicking off a deeper review of things like equipment schedules and staffing patterns. For years, Jackson and Summit Township Fire Services have worked side by side, but now both communities are moving toward a partnership that could completely reshape how emergencies are handled. It started with an approved resolution, pushing both departments closer to a long-term shared service model.
This is the first step, and what our mission is to unite resources and be able to create a stronger, more resilient fire service for the years to come. So what this resolution allows us to do is start talking with the stakeholders and coming up with a long-term plan that will allow both municipalities to provide the top-notch service.
Officials say the partnership expands staffing, boosts coverage, and helps both locations deploy the closest crew, no matter which side of the border the call comes from. And they say many of the benefits will start behind the scenes, especially as both departments work to streamline training and resources.
What we'll see is better training and hopefully some cost savings so we can stretch that tax dollar.
Leaders say those savings matter, especially as call volume grows and equipment becomes more expensive.
As far as our tax dollars being spent, this is going to allow us to spread that dollar further. They're going to get a more efficient coverage. I don't want to say better, but a more efficient, more streamlined coverage. Hopefully our hopes is to provide the closest truck, so a quicker coverage nonetheless.
Now the departments begin months of data collection, planning, and negotiations, working toward what could become a fully shared service framework. Now, this partnership doesn't mean the two departments will become one. They will continue to be separate, but work together to meet the needs of both communities. They expect to have early findings from their review later next year. And back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Rachel. Both boards emphasized no structural changes are happening yet. For now, this is strictly planning and analysis. Here's a live look over the city of Jackson, where